Bahamut's faith is unusual among divine religions in that it has very few formal temples. Dragons, with their long memories and solitary lives, do not build cathedrals in the way humanoids do. Instead, they inscribe Bahamut's symbol, a simple platinum dragon profile or a set of 7 stars, upon the walls of their lairs. These marks serve as shrines, places where the dragon pauses to reflect on whether it has lived up to its progenitor's ideals. Humanoid followers sometimes erect small chapels in quiet corners of their cities, simple stone structures with open ceilings to the sky and central altars shaped like outstretched wings. Before I move forward, we are counting on you to support our channel by clicking that tiny subscribe button so that we can bring more of these amazing legends and lore to life. Thank you. Within these temples, there are few adornments. The focus is on contemplation and on the stories of those who have shown great mercy or courage. Bahamut's clergy teach that the truest worship is not in reciting prayers, but in living them. Thus, worshippers count their deeds as prayers. Each act of protection, each instance of speaking truth in the face of power, is an offering to the platinum dragon. For those who feel a deeper call, there is a ritual known as the rite of rebirth. It is whispered that on rare occasions, a young person hears a faint question in their heart. Do you wish to devote yourself entirely to the service of Bahamut? The question may come in a dream, in a moment of crisis, or during quiet meditation. Those who accept find themselves drawn to a temple or a sacred glade where they are instructed to set aside all weapons, titles, and possessions. They spend a day and night in meditation, reflecting on all they will leave behind and all they hope to become. At dawn, they enter an egg-shaped chamber and sleep. When they emerge at the next dawn, their bodies have been transformed. Scales of platinum or another metallic hue cover their skin. Their eyes gleam with draconic intensity, and a new breath weapon burns in their lungs. They are dragonborn, reborn as champions of Bahamut. The rite of rebirth is not undertaken lightly. Those who survive it swear oaths to use their newfound strength only for just causes. Those who falter find that the transformation does not take. They remain as they were, but they carry with them a memory of what might have been, a reminder of the road still open should they choose to walk it later. Metallic dragons and their kin are Bahamut's first and most devoted followers. Born from his tears after the first wars of creation, they embody his virtues in different ways. Gold dragons exemplify nobility and wisdom, silver dragons compassion, bronze dragons martial guardianship, brass dragons joyful conversation, and copper dragons a mischievous sense of justice. All of them share a belief that their strength exists to protect rather than oppress. Their cultures are diverse, but they agree that generosity and courage are sacred, and they celebrate holy days with simple feasts, hymns, and acts of mercy, rather than grand temples or pageantry. These draconic ideals have inspired many mortals. Paladins swear oaths of honesty, courage, and compassion in Bahamut's name. Dragonborn clans strive to live honorably and defend their communities. Clerics heal the sick and judge fairly. Monks combine martial discipline with meditation on Bahamut's virtues. Though their traditions differ, they are bound by Bahamut's code. Protect the weak, uphold justice, remain steadfast, speak truth, show mercy to the penitent, and punish the unrepentant, and respect rightful authority while resisting tyranny. Even so, followers are not infallible. They struggle with pride or zealotry like anyone else. Bahamut asks them to hold themselves to the standards they impose on others, to confess when they err, and to pursue atonement. His faith thrives not on blind obedience, but on a partnership of guidance and responsibility. Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon, the greatest stories told about the plains, pitlight against darkness, law against chaos, ambition against compassion. Tales of demons and devils revel in the shock and horror of ruin, and legends of dragons often stir the heart with fear of annihilation. Yet, as in all things, the multiverse of Dungeons and Dragons holds opposites in tension, and just as the 9 hells are ruled by the tyrannical archdevils, so too is there a sovereign whose very existence is a beacon for good. Where a devil will offer to be your friend as a prelude to stealing your soul, the deity known as Bahamut offers something far more dangerous to the wicked: true friendship, freely given. His kindness is not a contract to be broken or twisted, and his generosity cannot be repaid with gold or souls. What he wants in return is intangible, a world where justice is upheld, where mercy tempers power, and where those who have strength use it to shield those who do not. In the game's earliest days, he was simply called the King of Good Dragons. But over time, Bahamut has become a symbol of the highest aspirations of paladins, protectors, and noble souls everywhere. To understand Bahamut is to understand an ideal. Unlike the devils, whose evil manifests in tangible bargains and monstrous battles, the Platinum Dragon's influence is subtle and often unseen. He does not force mortals into submission or terror. He does not bribe them with vast treasures or magic. Instead, he inspires them by example, calling them toward higher virtues through stories of his deeds and glimpses of his presence. In this way, Bahamut is as insidious in goodness as devils are in wickedness. The call to do right can be just as alluring as the temptation to do wrong, and those who hear Bahamut's whisper feel themselves drawn to a lifetime of service. In a universe filled with cosmic violence and constant betrayal, the Platinum Dragon chooses to embody hope. Hope does not come with a contract, yet it binds hearts and minds as surely as any infernal pact. But who is this deity whose scales shine like platinum, and whose name is whispered in reverence by knights, dragonborn, and commoners alike? How did he come into being, and what relationship does he have to the chromatic dragon queen Tiamat? How does he manifest in the world, and what is his purpose? Why would a being of unimaginable power disguise himself as a frail old man accompanied by 7 songbirds? To answer these questions, we must turn not to the lore books of devils, but to the myths and legends of dragons. Where the 9 hells are defined by rigid hierarchies, Bahamut's story is one of transformation, redemption, and selfless love. The Platinum Dragon is more than a powerful creature. He is an idea that justice tempered with mercy can prevail against tyranny, that individuals may choose goodness even in the face of immense temptation, and that one being's sacrifice can inspire an entire cosmos. In the chapters that follow, we will trace Bahamut's story from his cosmic birth to his modern worship. We will explore how he came to be known as the father of metallic dragons and the god of justice, how his eternal struggle with Tiamat reflects the primal conflict between order and chaos, and how his doctrine has shaped the lives of heroes throughout history. We will meet his emissaries, the 7 golden canaries whose true forms recall ancient gold dragons, and consider the role of paladins and dragonborn in his service. We will step into his resplendent palace on the slopes of Mount Celestia and listen to the wind of his realm. And at the end, we will grapple with the philosophy he teaches, that law without compassion is tyranny, and compassion without law is weakness. But together, they form a pillar strong enough to hold up the heavens. Along this journey, you will notice that the narrative style differs from the cold enumeration often found in bestiaries. Like the legends of devils, this account of Bahamut is meant to be immersive and vivid. It is meant to transport you into the myths that adventurers tell around campfires, the songs that bards sing about ancient battles, and the prayers whispered in temples. It is a story of creation and destruction, of betrayal and forgiveness, of hidden wanderers and radiant kings. Each section will open with a title and a short line that frames the mood, much like the enumeration of devil types in the previous narrative. But where those devils prey on fear, each aspect of Bahamut calls forth hope. So steel your mind, open your heart, and let us begin with the birth of the Platinum Dragon. Myths are the bones of the cosmos. They are the stories we tell about our beginnings to give shape to the uncertainties of existence. For dragons, the primal myth begins with Io, also called Asgorath, the great worm of creation. In one tale, Io crafted the world from his own egg, cracking it open to form the heavens and the earth. In another, Io's essence was split by a primordial weapon, and from the two halves emerged Bahamut and Tiamat. Whether one believes that Bahamut was a part of Io or his beloved child, all agree that he was born at the dawn of time alongside his sister. Where she embodied greed, chaos, and destruction, he represented justice, wisdom, and protection. The cosmic balance demanded that for every shadow there must be a light, and in the dragon pantheon Bahamut became that light. In the early ages, before mortal races carved their kingdoms, the gods and primordials waged a war for control of reality. The Dawn War pitted beings of elemental chaos against deities of order, and dragons found themselves drawn into the conflict. Some followed Bahamut into the heavens, others followed Tiamat into the abyss, and many mortals simply tried to survive. In this primordial chaos, Bahamut revealed his nature. He rallied those who would fight not for conquest, but for protection. He forged alliances with gods of justice and honor, and he broke the tide of chaos by interposing his own body between innocent worlds and the burning fury of the primordials. Imagine a dragon so vast its wings could shroud entire cities, its scales gleaming like polished silver, its eyes burning with righteous fire. When he roared, the sound shook the very fabric of the plains, yet mortals who heard it felt awe rather than terror. In these first battles, Bahamut did not fight alone. He had siblings and allies, and some of them did not survive. Legends speak of the Platinum Dragon carrying wounded gods upon his back, shielding them with his wings, refusing to abandon them even when it cost him his own blood. Such is the origin of his reputation for selfless heroism. Another myth describes Bahamut and Tiamat as twin heads on the body of a single cosmic serpent. In the beginning, there was only Io, whose mind encompassed all possibilities. Yet within Io grew the seeds of discord and harmony. When the serpent was slain by unknown assailants, the two heads separated and took on lives of their own. From the left head emerged a gleaming dragon, whose scales reflected the starlight. From the right head uncoiled a serpentine monster with 5 faces of wrath. Immediately the two looked upon each other with recognition and enmity. They were two halves of the same being, and each saw in the other everything they were not. Bahamut saw greed, malice, and chaos personified. Tiamat saw law, compassion, and order embodied. The cosmic balance could not abide the existence of only one. Their rivalry would define the destiny of dragons. In all versions of the myth, Bahamut's birth is associated with a revelation that power need not corrupt. In a universe where deities often use mortals as pawns, the Platinum Dragon chose a different path. He could have joined the primordials and carved out a domain of his own. He could have wielded his strength to dominate those weaker than him. Instead, he decided that his purpose was to protect creation itself. This choice is the first lesson Bahamut teaches. Being strong does not mean you must oppress. Being wise does not mean you must manipulate. True greatness lies in restraint and in service. From the moment of his cosmic inception, Bahamut embodied this paradox, a being of overwhelming power who chose humility. It is a theme that will recur again and again in his actions across the ages. Describing Bahamut is like trying to describe justice itself. Words fail to capture the full measure of the platinum dragon's presence. When he reveals his true form, he appears as a gargantuan dragon with scales of shining platinum that catch and refract light like 1,000 mirrors. His wings are immense sails of silver membrane, and each beat of those wings stirs winds that smell of fresh rain and distant mountains. His eyes are pools of molten gold flecked with platinum, and within them one sees both endless compassion and unyielding resolve. Bahamut's head is crowned with sharp horns that sweep back elegantly, and his mane is like a crest of shimmering diamond dust. In battle, his breath weapon is not acid or fire, but a conical blast of burning radiance that purifies rather than simply destroys. Those who have seen this breath describe a sensation of warmth and clarity. Evil creatures feel unbearable agony, while the innocent feel a calm reassurance. Yet this description is only a shadow of what he truly is. Bahamut is not just a giant dragon, but a deity, and as such, he can assume many forms. One of his favorite guises is that of an old man or peasant in simple robes, traveling with a staff and accompanied by 7 songbirds. In this form, his eyes still hold the same depth, and those with keen perception might notice that the birds at his shoulder have faint metallic glints beneath their feathers. He uses this guise to wander the world unseen, aiding the poor and humble, testing the virtues of rulers, and righting wrongs in ways that rarely draw attention. He does not demand worship from those he helps. He does not even reveal his identity. He simply acts because it is right to do so. Those who share a fire with the old man often remark afterward that they felt as though they had just spoken with someone ancient and wise. Paladins tell stories of meeting a kindly stranger on the road who offered them a water skin and counsel, only to realize later that the stranger never cast a shadow. The duality of Bahamut's manifestations, a colossal dragon and a humble wanderer, speaks to the core of his character. He is the apex of draconic majesty, capable of battling arch-fiends and tearing through demonic hordes, yet he is also the gentle hand that lifts a fallen farmer from the mud. This duality also means that one must be cautious when making assumptions about who is worthy of respect. Just as the devils take on pleasing forms to trick mortals, Bahamut takes on unassuming forms to test them. The difference lies in their intent. Devils use deception to ensnare souls. Bahamut uses humility to reveal character. Those who treat the old man poorly because they think him weak miss an opportunity to demonstrate kindness. Those who show compassion to strangers regardless of status often find themselves unexpectedly blessed. Thus, the Platinum Dragon turns the expectations of worldly power upside down. There is one element of Bahamut's appearance that merits special mention: the 7 canaries that accompany his mortal guise. To a casual observer, they are simply brightly colored birds with melodious voices. In truth, they are ancient gold dragons who have chosen to serve as Bahamut's companions and bodyguards. Each of these dragons has a name and a history of their own, and they are said to represent the virtues Bahamut holds most dear: wisdom, courage, mercy, justice, sacrifice, humility, and hope. When danger approaches, they shed their avian disguises and reveal their true forms, rising into the air as a cohort of radiant dragons ready to defend their lord. The presence of these canaries is a reminder that even when Bahamut appears alone and vulnerable, he is never without allies. It also illustrates the trust his followers place in him. These powerful dragons are content to be birds because they believe in the path of service that Bahamut has carved. More than any physical description, Bahamut is defined by his values. He is the deity of justice, nobility, protection, and honor. He is lawful good. But his law is not rigid like that of a devil. His law serves mercy and fairness rather than tyranny. He expects his followers to act honorably, to speak truthfully, and to protect the weak. He abhors injustice and will intervene when tyrants abuse their power. At the same time, he believes in redemption. Bahamut does not delight in punishing the wicked for its own sake. Instead, he prefers to offer them a chance to repent. Those who accept his mercy find themselves set on a hard road toward atonement. Those who refuse and continue to harm others eventually face his wrath. In this way, he embodies both the sword and the shield. His sword cuts away corruption. His shield guards those who need protection. Understanding this balance is essential to understanding Bahamut himself. No discussion of Bahamut is complete without mention of his sister and eternal nemesis, Tiamat. Where Bahamut represents law and goodness, Tiamat embodies greed, chaos, and evil. She appears as a colossal dragon with 5 heads, each head a different color representing a chromatic dragon. Red for fire, blue for lightning, green for poison, black for acid, and white for ice. Her lair is in the darkest parts of the 9 hells or the abyss, depending on the edition, and she is worshipped by cults who seek wealth and power above all else. To Tiamat, mortals are little more than resources to exploit and amusements to dominate. To Bahamut, mortals are fellow travelers deserving of respect. The rivalry between these two deities is as old as the cosmos, and their battles are etched into the myths of countless worlds. Some legends claim that Bahamut and Tiamat were once united as a single being. When Io was slain by a primordial, his body split into 2 divine entities. This division created a cosmic tension. Tiamat believes Bahamut stole a portion of her power, and she is determined to reclaim it. Bahamut believes Tiamat's greed threatens the balance of creation. Their conflict is not just personal, but philosophical. It is a struggle over what it means to be powerful. Is power something to be hoarded and used to dominate others? Or is it something entrusted to you so that you might protect those who cannot protect themselves? Each of these dragons offers an answer. Mortals who worship them align themselves with these answers and live out the consequences. Where Tiamat encourages ruthlessness and the accumulation of wealth, no matter the cost, Bahamut urges generosity and the pursuit of justice, even at great personal cost. The sibling rivalry has taken many forms across the ages. In one story, Tiamat led an army of chromatic dragons to invade the celestial realms. She sought to storm Bahamut's palace, seize his treasure hoard, and humiliate him before the other gods. The metallic dragons rallied to their lord's side, and the battle raged across the skies for days. In the end, Bahamut confronted Tiamat personally. Their clash shook the foundations of the plane, and their roars echoed across the cosmos. Bahamut could have slain his sister, but instead he chose to banish her. He did this not out of weakness, but out of mercy. He believed that destroying her would further imbalance the cosmic scales, and he hoped that perhaps, in some distant future, she might change. Tiamat saw this as an insult and vowed eternal revenge. That day, the line between metallic and chromatic dragons was drawn in fire and light. In another tale, Tiamat tricked Bahamut into descending to the mortal realm by spreading rumors of an ancient evil threatening a city. When Bahamut arrived disguised as an old man, Tiamat sent assassins to slay him. As the assassins closed in, the old man's canaries transformed into gold dragons and drove the killers away. Bahamut revealed his true form and confronted his sister. But instead of battling her in the skies, he spoke to her in the ancient draconic language of their creation. He reminded her of their shared origin and offered her a chance to reconcile. Tiamat responded with a blast of acid that melted the stone beneath them. Even then, Bahamut did not respond with lethal force. He countered her attack, shielded the mortals caught between them, and then retreated to spare the city further destruction. This story illustrates two important facets of their relationship. First, Tiamat will use deceit and collateral damage to achieve her ends. Second, Bahamut's commitment to protecting innocence often limits the extent of his retaliation. For players and storytellers, the rivalry between Bahamut and Tiamat provides rich narrative fuel. Adventurers may find themselves drawn into a cult's plot to summon the Dragon Queen, only to discover that Bahamut's agents are working quietly to thwart it. They may be granted visions of a platinum dragon urging them to act with courage. They may face moral dilemmas where doing the right thing is harder than taking the quick route to power. And if they ever witness a confrontation between the two dragon gods, they will see more than fire and lightning. They will witness a philosophical battle about what kind of world they want to live in. Ultimately, the conflict between Bahamut and Tiamat is not about dragons at all. It is about the souls of those who must choose between greed and generosity, between tyranny and justice. Through their stories, we are asked which side we will stand on. Where does a deity of justice dwell? If devils make their home in the 9 hells, Bahamut resides in the gleaming heights of the 7 heavens of Mount Celestia. In the cosmology known as the Great Wheel, Mount Celestia is a plain of law and goodness, a mountain that rises from a silver sea and passes through 7 distinct layers before reaching its summit. Each layer is more radiant and harmonious than the last, and at the pinnacle waits a paradise accessible only to those who embody the highest virtues. It is said that souls ascending Mount Celestia can literally see their own flaws fall away like scales of darkness, leaving them purer with each step. Bahamut's realm is situated on the 3rd or 4th layer, depending on the myth, often described as a shining palace resting on a floating island suspended by chains of light above a golden waterfall. The palace itself is a wonder beyond mortal comprehension. Its walls are carved from platinum and alabaster, encrusted with gemstones that glow with an inner light. Towers rise like spear points, capped with domes of crystal that reflect the starlight of the upper heavens. Waterfalls cascade from one terrace to another, forming pools that mirror the clouds below. The halls are lined with statues of heroes who embodied Bahamut's ideals, and voices of long-departed saints echo softly in the corridors, offering counsel to those who listen. The roof of the grand audience chamber is a mosaic depicting metallic dragons soaring through a clear sky, with Bahamut at the center. In the heart of the palace sits Bahamut's throne, a seat of intricately wrought platinum that hums with the resonance of cosmic law. From this throne, Bahamut hears the petitions of souls and judges, matters of justice brought before him. Those who stand in this chamber often describe a sensation of being seen completely, as if nothing could be hidden from the platinum dragon's gaze. Surrounding the palace is a realm known as Bahamut's court, or Bahamut's domain. It is a place of serene landscapes and gentle winds, where the sky is a perpetual twilight that glows like the inside of a pearl. Rolling hills are covered in soft grasses, and crystal streams flow through valleys where wildflowers emit a faint luminescence. Metallic dragons of all kinds, gold, silver, brass, bronze, and copper, glide through the air or rest upon mountain tops, sharing stories and songs. Mortal souls who have proved themselves through lives of selflessness find rest here, often taking on draconic forms as a reward. Some choose to stay as guardians or counselors. Others journey onward toward higher layers. At the edge of Bahamut's realm stands a gate guarded by two of his most trusted gold dragons. This gate opens onto a path that ascends to the higher heavens. Only those whom Bahamut deems ready may pass. There is another aspect to Bahamut's realm that is rarely depicted in art, the Hall of Atonement. While many souls come to the seven heavens because they led righteous lives, there are those who arrive at Bahamut's court seeking redemption. The Hall of Atonement is a cloistered enclave of white marble where such souls are given the opportunity to reflect on their past misdeeds and begin the long, often painful process of making amends. Each soul in the hall is paired with a mentor, sometimes a metallic dragon, sometimes a saint, sometimes an angel. These mentors help the souls confront the consequences of their actions and guide them toward restitution. The process is not easy. Souls may spend what feels like centuries working through their guilt and learning to act in accordance with Bahamut's virtues. Those who complete their atonement emerge from the hall with a renewed sense of purpose and are often offered roles as guardians or messengers. Bahamut believes that redemption is possible, but that it requires honest effort. The existence of the Hall of Atonement underscores his commitment to mercy, tempered by justice. In some cosmologies, Bahamut's realm is also tied to the concept of the North Wind. He is sometimes called the Lord of the North Wind because of his association with the chill, clear air that sweeps down from the heavens. The North Wind in these tales is not a biting cold, but a refreshing breeze that clears away corruption and confusion. Travelers on the material plane who feel a sudden uplifting gust of cool air may take it as a sign of the platinum dragon's favor. In certain sagas, Bahamut rides the North Wind across the world in his humanoid guise, using it to appear and disappear at will. The wind is his cloak, his messenger, and sometimes his voice. When a paladin hears a whisper on the wind urging them toward compassion or away from temptation, they may be hearing Bahamut's counsel. It is worth noting that Bahamut's palace is not a fortress bristling with weapons like a devil's citadel. It is open and welcoming. There are no moats or traps. There are guardians, but they greet visitors with courtesy rather than suspicion. The reason is simple. Bahamut's power does not depend on walls. It depends on the trust and loyalty of his followers and on the innate righteousness of his cause. Intruders cannot easily hide their intent in a place so saturated with honesty. Those who come in peace are welcomed. Those who come to deceive find themselves exposed. In this way, Bahamut's realm serves as a model for the kind of society he seeks to inspire: transparent, fair, and secure, not because of oppressive enforcement, but because of shared values. Beyond the poetic descriptions, sages who study planar cartography speak of Bahamut's palace as an entity in motion. Some texts describe it traveling on the back of a great whirlwind, moving along currents that connect the first 4 layers of Mount Celestia and beyond. The palace is said to hover just beyond the east wind, accessible only through portals guarded by archons. According to old chronicles, 4 archons stand sentinel at the gates to the 4 winds. Yonel guards the north wind, vigilant and stern. Kirkuta watches over the south wind with compassion. Moriel tends the west wind, ensuring that travelers are honest. And Ruhiel holds the east wind itself, a gate reserved for those of exceptional purity. Each guardian tests pilgrims not with riddles, but with simple acts that reveal character. Within the palace, there are open portals leading not only to the layers of Celestia, but also to the elemental plane of air and the astral plane. These portals allow Bahamut's emissaries to respond swiftly to threats across the multiverse and permit worthy souls to continue their journey upward. In some editions of the game, particularly the 4th, Bahamut shares the island of Celestia with Moradin and Cord. There he rules from the Mountain of Mercian, shaping the landscape at will along with his divine peers. Wherever the palace travels, its beauty remains constant. Windows of gemstone set in gold, floors of mithril polished to a mirror shine, and halls that hum with the resonance of 100 hymns sung by 100 different peoples. If Bahamut is an ideal, his followers are those who strive to embody that ideal in the world. They come from many races and backgrounds, united not by blood or culture, but by a shared belief in justice and protection. In the Forgotten Realms and other campaign settings, Bahamut's worshippers include metallic dragons, dragonborn, humans, dwarves, elves, and even some orcs who have turned away from their gods of war. What draws them to the Platinum Dragon is not fear of punishment, but admiration for his virtues. To join his faith is to commit to a lifetime of service, sacrifice, and moral discipline. It is a difficult path, yet countless souls have chosen it because they believe the world needs guardians as much as it needs warriors. The metallic dragons are Bahamut's most direct children. According to legend, after the first wars of creation, Bahamut looked upon the devastation wrought by Tiamat's chromatic progeny and wept. His tears fell to the earth and became the first metallic dragons: gold, silver, bronze, brass, and copper. Each type reflects a different facet of Bahamut's personality. Gold dragons embody nobility and wisdom. Silver dragons value compassion and use their shape-shifting abilities to live among mortals, often acting as healers. Bronze dragons are drawn to coasts and stormy weather, where they protect sailors and coastal communities. Brass dragons are gregarious and love storytelling, using humor to diffuse tension. Copper dragons are pranksters, but also defenders of the innocent, teaching that joy and justice are not mutually exclusive. All metallic dragons revere Bahamut as their progenitor and look to him for guidance in their conduct. Though they do not always agree on tactics, they share the fundamental belief that their strength should be used to protect rather than exploit. Among humanoids, the most well-known of Bahamut's followers are paladins. The paladin class in Dungeons & Dragons is a holy warrior bound by oath to uphold certain ideals, and many paladins swear oaths aligned with Bahamut's teachings. The Oath of Devotion, for example, emphasizes honesty, courage, and compassion. The Oath of Vengeance focuses on punishing the guilty and protecting the innocent. Paladins of Bahamut often serve as knights in shining armor, literally in some cases, defending villages from marauding monsters, standing against tyrants, and exemplifying mercy even toward defeated foes. They are easily recognized by their silver or platinum holy symbols, often shaped like a dragon's head or a pair of wings. Many take vows of poverty, giving away their excess wealth to the needy, and vows of humility, refusing titles and trappings of authority unless they are necessary to further their mission. In return, Bahamut grants them divine strength, a shield of faith, and the ability to heal the wounded. Dragonborn, a race of humanoids with draconic ancestry, are also prominent among Bahamut's devotees. According to some lore, the Dragonborn were created by Bahamut as servants and allies in the war against Tiamat. They retain draconic features such as scaled skin, clawed hands, and breath weapons. Within Dragonborn culture, clans often align themselves with either Bahamut or Tiamat. Those who follow Bahamut strive to live honorably, to value community over individual gain, and to seek harmony with other races. They are known for forming disciplined militias to defend their homes, for judging disputes fairly, and for honoring oaths once taken. They celebrate holy days dedicated to the Platinum Dragon, with feasts, aerial displays for those with wings, and reenactments of ancient battles where Bahamut's forces triumphed over evil. Clerics and monks also find a home in Bahamut's faith. Clerics of Bahamut wield divine magic to heal, protect, and invoke radiance against the forces of darkness. They serve as pastors, judges, and advisors in communities aligned with the Platinum Dragon, ensuring that the law is tempered with compassion. Many oversee orphanages and hospitals funded by tithes from metallic dragons. Monks who follow Bahamut practice disciplines that combine physical training with meditation on his virtues. They learn to fight with unarmed strikes and to channel radiant energy through their bodies. Their monasteries often stand in remote mountain passes, where monks serve as guardians for travelers and as teachers of moral philosophy. Some sects of Bahamut's worship emphasize contemplation and believe that true strength comes from introspection. Others emphasize action and believe that contemplation must be paired with service. What unites these diverse followers is a code of conduct often called Bahamut's Code. Though wording varies across cultures, common elements include protect the weak, uphold justice, be honest, remain steadfast in adversity, show mercy to those who desire redemption, punish the unrepentant, and respect legitimate authority while resisting tyranny. Followers are encouraged to study the law, not so they can exploit loopholes, but so they can ensure it is used fairly. They are taught that lying is a form of violence against trust, and that greed corrodes the soul. They are instructed to confront their own pride and to remember that all beings, no matter how noble, have the capacity for error. The code is not a rigid set of rules to be used as a bludgeon. It is a compass guiding them toward choices that uphold Bahamut's ideals. Of course, not all of Bahamut's followers are perfect. Humans and Dragonborn are imperfect creatures, and even metallic dragons struggle with envy or impatience. There are tales of silver dragons growing too attached to the communities they protect and becoming controlling. Some paladins, in their zeal to vanquish evil, have fallen into the trap of believing that their judgment is infallible. Bahamut does not condone such arrogance. He expects his followers to hold themselves to the same standards they apply to others. When they fail, he does not immediately cast them away. He offers them the chance to atone through honest confession, restitution, and renewed commitment. Those who refuse to acknowledge their mistakes may find that Bahamut's blessings diminish. Those who humbly accept correction often come out stronger and wiser. In this way, Bahamut's worship differs markedly from Tiamat's. The Platinum Dragon does not demand blind obedience. He invites his followers into a relationship of mutual trust and responsibility. At the heart of Bahamut's mythology stand his most trusted servants, the 7 golden Wyrms, also known as the 7 golden canaries in their diminutive forms. These beings are not mere pets, but ancient and powerful gold dragons who have pledged themselves to the Platinum Dragon service. Each represents a particular virtue, and together they constitute Bahamut's inner council. In stories they appear perched on his shoulders when he adopts his mortal guise, singing sweetly or offering whispers of counsel. When danger arises, their small forms blur and expand, feathers giving way to scales, wings unfurling into vast spans of gold. In an instant, a single old man with 7 birds becomes the leader of 8 colossal dragons, blazing with righteous fire. Legends differ on the identity of these 7 spirits. Some sages assign them names and individual virtues, while others treat them as anonymous archetypes. They may act as heralds, diplomats, generals, teachers or guardians, depending on Bahamut's need. But whatever role they assume, their loyalty to the Platinum Dragon's values is absolute. In addition to the 7 golden Wyrms, Bahamut is said to have other emissaries. Angels of radiant energy who bear his sigil travel between planes, carrying messages. Luminous spirits known as lantern archons patrol the perimeter of his realm, guiding lost souls to safety. Mortal champions who have proven themselves may be elevated to sainthood and granted extended lifespans to serve as advisors. These saints often manifest as voices in dreams or as invisible presences that strengthen the resolve of Bahamut's followers in moments of doubt. They might whisper a single word that prevents a paladin from making a rash decision, or they might cause a villain's sword arm to hesitate. In all cases, they act subtly, for Bahamut prefers to work through inspiration rather than direct intervention. He trusts his followers to learn and grow through their own choices. There are also tales of Bahamut manifesting avatars in multiple locations simultaneously. In the old 3rd edition Monster Manual, an avatar of Bahamut could appear as a huge ancient gold dragon or as a swarm of luminous sparks. Each avatar possessed a fraction of the deity's power and functioned as his extension on the material plane. These avatars might aid adventurers in particularly dire situations, such as when a demonic incursion threatened to engulf a kingdom, or when a tyrant attempted to perform a ritual to bind Tiamat to the world. The avatars fought with blinding breath weapons of holy power and wielded spells that banished fiends. Yet even these manifestations were restrained. Bahamut believes that constant intervention would rob mortals of agency. He sends an avatar not to take control, but to level the playing field when the forces of evil threaten to overwhelm good beyond mortal capacity. Stories emphasize that Bahamut's messengers often appear in humble guises. A beggar at a roadside shrine or a traveler sharing a campfire might be one of his heralds, testing whether mortals will act out of kindness without expectation of reward. Those who choose compassion in these small encounters may later find that their own struggles are eased by sudden inspiration or good fortune, a reminder that every act of grace echoes in the wider battle between justice and tyranny. In a game that spans countless worlds, it is only natural that a deity as influential as Bahamut would appear under different names and guises. Though the core of his identity remains constant, a champion of justice, a protector of the innocent, and an enemy of tyranny. The stories told about him vary according to the needs and cultures of those who tell them. Recognizing these aspects enriches our understanding of the Platinum Dragon, showing how his light refracts through the prism of the multiverse. In the world of Kryn, made famous by the Dragonlance novels, Bahamut is known as Paladine. There he stands as the leader of the gods of good and as the father of dragons. During the War of the Lance, when the dark goddess Takisis attempted to conquer the world with an army of draconians and evil dragons, Paladine took on the guise of Fizban the Fabulous, a bumbling old wizard who accompanied the heroes of the Lance. At first glance, Fizban seems incompetent. He forgets spells, trips over his robes, and misplaces his hat. Yet at key moments, he offers exactly the guidance or magic the heroes need. Through Fizban, Paladine teaches that wisdom often hides in unexpected places and that humility can cloak great power. When Takisis is finally cast down, it is Paladine who sacrifices his godhood to maintain the balance between good and evil. His story in Krynn underscores Bahamut's willingness to diminish himself for the sake of the greater good. On the world of Toril in the Forgotten Realms, Bahamut is sometimes called Zymor, a name used by dragons themselves. Zymor's followers tell the story of the Dragonfall War, an ancient conflict between the metallic and chromatic dragons. According to this myth, Tiamat sought to dominate all dragons, but a faction led by Zymor resisted. Battles raged across mountain ranges and deep caverns, ending only when Zymor and his allies slew Nagamat, one of Tiamat's mightiest generals. The victory was costly, and both sides retreated to lick their wounds. Zymor then turned his attention to the humanoids of Toril, teaching them that dragons could be allies rather than threats. When Tiamat later tried to return in the modern era, events chronicled in the adventure Tyranny of Dragons, Zymor's agents worked behind the scenes to unite adventurers against her. The name may be different, but the pattern is the same. Stand firm against greed, offer guidance rather than domination, and trust that even the smallest heroes can change the course of history. Another notable aspect of Bahamut in the realms is Marduk, the Justice Bringer, a god adopted by the ancient humans of Unter. In this guise, Bahamut joined a human pantheon, presenting himself not as a dragon, but as a mighty warrior with scales of shining silver. For generations he was worshipped alongside deities of the sun, the earth, and the sea. During the Orkgate Wars, when Orcish invaders from another world poured into Unter, Marduk led the armies of the humans and their allies. He was slain in battle by an avatar of Grumsh and his Orc gods, and his church collapsed overnight. Yet some scholars suggest that Marduk's death was not the end. Bahamut's essence cannot be permanently destroyed. It is said that centuries later, in a time of crisis, a silver-scaled stranger appeared in the temples of Unter, offering guidance to those who would listen. This story invites players to explore themes of rebirth, resilience, and the ways in which a god's influence persists even when his name is forgotten. Across the editions of Dungeons & Dragons, Bahamut's portrayal has evolved. In the earliest texts, he was a remote figure, a literal dragon god whom few mortals ever encountered. 3rd edition introduced the concept of his avatars and made his servants more accessible, allowing players to interact with aspects of his divinity. 4th edition reframed him as a war god and a member of the Astral Sea Pantheon, where he shared an island with Moradin and Kord. In this version, Bahamut was more martial, leading armies of angels against Tiamat and the forces of the primordials. He was slain during the Dawn War by his sister, but returned to life when mortals brought his banner back to the world. 5th edition returned Bahamut to his classic role as the Platinum Dragon of Mount Celestia, emphasizing his connection to metallic dragons and his opposition to Tiamat's cults. Through these shifts, one constant remains. Bahamut is a force for good who challenges players to consider how they use power. Understanding Bahamut's multiple names and aspects enriches campaigns. A dungeon master might weave Paladine's sacrifice into a story about the cost of victory. They might have a mysterious ally named Zymor, offer cryptic warnings. They might introduce a prophecy about Marduk's return, prompting players to seek lost temples. Each aspect provides a lens through which to explore the same virtues. Whether called Bahamut, Paladine, Zymor, Marduk, or Fizban, the Platinum Dragon invites mortals to rise above base desires and to use whatever strength they have in the service of justice. His diversity of names mirrors the diversity of those who follow him, proving that goodness is not bound to one culture or one form. It flows like a river through every world, taking on the shape of its bed, yet always moving towards the sea. Throughout the history of Dungeons and Dragons, Bahamut has emerged from his realm at pivotal moments to shift the course of events. These interventions often appear in adventure modules or sourcebooks as the climax of long campaigns. They illustrate both the magnitude of his power and the restraint with which he employs it. In many of these stories, Bahamut arrives when all seems lost, not to solve the problem single-handedly, but to empower mortals to act. His interventions are rarely direct smitings. They are more often acts of inspiration, guidance, or protection that give heroes the courage to face impossible odds. One such story comes from an ancient conflict known as the draconic mythology. In the Forgotten Realms, a powerful magical effect periodically drove all dragons into mindless fury, causing them to attack anything in their path. This chaos threatened not only mortals, but also the dragons themselves. Bahamut intervened by appearing to a coalition of mortal archmages and druidic circles, urging them to find a way to end the draconic. He guided them to an ancient artifact hidden deep within a mountain, a relic created during the Dawn War. With Bahamut's counsel, the archmages reconfigured the artifact into a seal that suppressed the rage. When the draconic struck again centuries later, Bahamut sent visions to a group of adventurers, showing them the location of the seal and the method by which they could strengthen it. Without this guidance, the world would have been overrun by berserk dragons, and Tiamat's cults would have exploited the chaos. Another legendary deed involves the creation of the Dragonborn. Some texts describe how, during the war between Bahamut and Tiamat, the Platinum Dragon realized that he needed allies who combined the resilience of dragons with the adaptability of humanoids. He gathered the spirits of noble warriors who had died defending their homelands and offered them a choice: be reborn in a new form to continue their service. Those who accepted found their souls housed in bodies with draconic traits. Thus were the first Dragonborn created. Bahamut taught them to channel elemental energy through their breath and to stand as living symbols of unity between dragons and mortals. In later ages, Bahamut intervened to protect Dragonborn enclaves from genocide, sending his gold dragon emissaries to divert invading armies. To this day, many Dragonborn clans honor their origin by dedicating a shrine to Bahamut in their communal halls. In the world of Greyhawk, there is a tale of a tyrant who sought to open a gateway to the 9 hells in order to bargain with devils. This tyrant believed that with infernal aid, he could conquer the neighboring kingdoms. Bahamut, hearing the prayers of the oppressed, appeared in a dream to a humble cleric. He instructed the cleric to gather a group of heroes and travel to the tyrant's capital. Along the way, Bahamut's emissaries provided small miracles: a sudden storm that scattered the tyrant's scouts, a flock of birds that led the heroes to a hidden path, a burst of light that revealed the location of a magical key. When the heroes infiltrated the palace, they discovered that the ritual to open the gate required a blood sacrifice of innocents. They stopped the ritual just as the portal flickered to life. In that moment, the tyrant saw a vision of a colossal platinum dragon staring at him with disappointment. He felt the weight of his own guilt and collapsed. The portal closed, and the tyrant was stripped of his power. This intervention illustrates how Bahamut works through mortals to thwart the schemes of those who would ally with devils. Perhaps the most famous example of Bahamut's direct action is his participation in the battle known as the Blood War's Hour of Penance. During a particularly fierce exchange in the Blood War between demons and devils, a breach opened between the planes, threatening to spill the conflict into the prime material world. Demons and devils alike sought to harness this breach to gain an advantage over each other. Mortal lives were of no consequence to them. Bahamut, however, could not allow the world to become a battlefield for fiends. He descended in his true form, his body radiating pure light. Demons that drew near were incinerated by his breath. Devils felt their contracts unraveling as the power of law was bent toward justice rather than tyranny. Bahamut did not fight to destroy both sides, but to push them back through the breach, sealing it behind them. Once the breach was closed, he did not linger to be worshipped. He simply nodded to the stunned mortals watching from afar and returned to the heavens, leaving behind a sense of peace and the knowledge that someone cared enough to intervene. Legends also recount how Bahamut banished Tiamat from the mortal world to the depths of hell. In one such myth, Tiamat spent ages roaming the prime material plane, seeding it with evil dragons and dark magic. Eventually, Bahamut and a sky god named Pelor by some, Heronius by others, confronted her. Together they wrestled with the five-headed queen, their battle shaking mountains and boiling seas. At last, Bahamut's claws gripped Tiamat's central neck, and the sky god's spear pierced the ground beneath her. The combined force tore open a chasm into the 9 hells, and through it, Tiamat was cast, screaming curses. Bahamut stood at the edge and roared a warning. She could have her realm in hell, but would never again walk freely among innocents. This banishment story explains why Tiamat's lair is often placed in Avernus or Dis, and underscores Bahamut's willingness to act decisively when all other options have failed. Not all of Bahamut's interventions are recorded in epics. More often he works through quiet moments. An old story warns of his whisper turning a warrior's hand away from murder. A dream sends a humble villager to warn their neighbors of a flood. A sudden gust of wind stays the blade of a tyrant about to execute an innocent. These everyday miracles rarely enter bards' songs, but they reveal that Bahamut's care extends to single souls and small choices as much as to grand battles. He calls mortals to be mindful of their actions, offering inspiration when kindness is possible and a nudge when temptation threatens to overcome virtue. Such tales are not meant to provide an easy solution. They are invitations for players and dungeon masters to grapple with ethical choices. Bahamut's appearances rarely remove agency from the heroes. Instead, he challenges characters to rise to the occasion, to weigh sacrifice against redemption, and to temper zeal with humility. He cares deeply but never dominates. His presence empowers mortals to act rather than acting for them, making their decisions the true heart of the story. What does it mean to live as a devotee of the Platinum Dragon? At its core, the philosophy of Bahamut is about aligning one's power with moral responsibility. It acknowledges that strength is dangerous when wielded without conscience, and that law is dangerous when devoid of compassion. Bahamut teaches that righteousness is not merely a matter of following rules, but of understanding the purpose behind them. Justice is not about vengeance. It is about restoring balance and protecting the vulnerable. Mercy is not about weakness. It is about recognizing the potential for change. To be a true follower of Bahamut is to constantly balance these values, to ask with each decision, will this action protect the innocent, honor truth, uphold fairness, and allow for redemption? Many of Bahamut's teachings are encapsulated in parables passed down through the ages. One such tale tells of a knight who captures a murderous bandit and prepares to execute him. An old man asks whether killing the bandit will restore the victims. The knight realizes it will not. Instead, he requires the bandit to spend his life making restitution to the families he harmed. Years later, when the bandit has saved more lives than he took, the old man reveals himself as Bahamut and explains that justice without mercy hardens the heart, and mercy without justice weakens virtue. Law, he teaches, should heal as well as punish. Another teaching centers on humility. Bahamut warns against the seduction of self-righteousness. It is easy to believe that being on the side of good automatically makes one's actions good. Yet history is replete with examples of well-intentioned zealotry turning into tyranny. Bahamut instructs his followers to listen to others, to consider the possibility of error, and to accept correction. In game terms, a paladin who always assumes they are right may make decisions that cause collateral damage. A cleric who refuses to hear a plea for mercy may inadvertently push a desperate person into the arms of evil. Bahamut's philosophy encourages empathy, patience, and reflection. Central to Bahamut's dogma is the idea that good must be done wisely. In his eyes, well-intentioned actions that strip people of agency can be as harmful as malevolent acts. He urges his followers to assist those in need, but to let people fight their own battles when they can. Provide healing, information, or safe refuge, he says, but do not rob them of the opportunity to grow stronger through struggle. This teaching distinguishes Bahamut's faith from paternalistic doctrines. It encourages empowerment over dependency and respects the dignity of those being helped. In practice, this might mean that a cleric of Bahamut will heal an injured villager and then teach them how to defend themselves, or that a paladin will stand between an invader and a town only until the town's militia can take over. The goal is not to be a savior forever, but to inspire self-sufficiency. Bahamut also values wisdom, knowledge, prophecy, and song. Stories say that he delights in music more than in offerings of gold. Bards in his service compose hymns that recount the deeds of heroes and instruct listeners in virtue. His temples host libraries of prophetic writings and histories, and his clerics preserve oral traditions from cultures that might otherwise be forgotten. He encourages his followers to seek out hidden truths and to use knowledge to promote understanding rather than division. In this way, Bahamut's faith is intellectual as well as martial. It nurtures scholars, artists, and strategists alongside warriors. The Platinum Dragon sees no contradiction between the sword and the book. Both are tools for defending the good, and each informs the responsible use of the other. Another parable tells of a dragon who hoarded a mountain of treasure, claiming it was saving its wealth to fund a future crusade against evil. When a famine struck the nearby countryside, the dragon refused to share its hoard, insisting that its mission was too important to risk diminishing its resources. Bahamut appeared and asked how many people would die before the crusade even began. The dragon replied that sacrifice was necessary for the greater good. Bahamut responded that a sacrifice unwillingly taken is theft, not virtue. He breathed upon the treasure, transforming it into fertile soil. The dragon watched as farmers planted crops on its former hoard and fed their families. In the end, those families grew strong and joined the dragon in its crusade, and together they were victorious. This story reminds Bahamut's followers that generosity creates allies, and that hoarding resources, even for a noble cause, can become its own form of greed. The Platinum Dragon's legacy extends beyond his immediate followers. In the world of Dungeons and Dragons, the very concept of the metallic dragon, noble, wise, and protective, owes its origin to him. Without Bahamut, there would be no gold dragons flying to the defense of a village under attack, no silver dragons raising orphaned children in remote monasteries, no dragon-born knights swearing oaths to defend the innocent. Bahamut's influence has also shaped the broader pantheon. He has forged alliances with gods like Moradin, Pelor, and Tyr, cooperating on matters of mutual concern, such as the defense of the material plane from extraplanar threats. He has inspired mortal institutions like the Order of the Gauntlet, a guild of paladins and clerics dedicated to stamping out evil. In settings like Eberron, his name is invoked by dragon-marked houses seeking to use their powers responsibly. Even characters who do not worship Bahamut may find themselves touched by his legacy when they feel a stirring of conscience in the face of injustice. In the broader cultural context, Bahamut represents an archetype, the benevolent guardian. Literature, film, and video games outside of D&D have incorporated variations of the Platinum Dragon. In the Final Fantasy series, Bahamut is a recurring summon representing power and protection. In some anime and manga, he appears as a symbol of ultimate righteousness. These adaptations are not always identical to the tabletop deity, but they draw on the same core image: a mighty dragon who wields his strength for the good of all. This speaks to the universal appeal of Bahamut's story. People across cultures are drawn to the idea of a powerful being who could dominate but chooses to serve. In a world where power is often abused, the myth of Bahamut reassures us that power can also be ennobling. For dungeon masters, the philosophy of Bahamut offers opportunities to deepen campaigns. A storyline involving Bahamut might challenge players to consider the ethical implications of their actions. Should they show mercy to a defeated villain? How should they navigate a corrupt legal system while upholding justice? How do they respond when their allies suggest methods that conflict with Bahamut's code? The Platinum Dragon's teachings can also inspire world-building. Imagine a city-state governed by laws derived from Bahamut's principles, where mercy courts work alongside criminal courts. Imagine a temple that functions as both a place of worship and a refuge for the oppressed. Imagine a knight's order that divides its members into pairs, one focused on justice, the other on mercy, to ensure balance. Through such elements, the abstraction of Bahamut's philosophy becomes tangible, inviting players to engage with moral complexity.